So, ladies and gentlemen, TFG and Mike here, and apparently I do not do well with math. As of this episode, we are now in the 450s for the pull bag because I looked at our Spreaker feed and everything that we have on it over the last 8 years says we are at 454 episodes for the pull bag. So even though during this episode I mentioned that it's episode 430, it is not. It is actually episode 455. That's right, folks, 455. We are staying alive here inside the pull bag. Now, on with the show.
Hey, this is Josh Keaton, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
This is writer Kyle Higgins, and you've jumped inside the pull bag, only on the Geekcast Radio Network.
This is Kevin Conroy. And I am the goddamn Batman.
You've just jumped inside the pull bag. Join TFG1 Mike and the rest of the comic crew here at the GCRN as they make their great escape into comics. From DC, Marvel, and Image to IDW, Boom Studios, and Zenescope, we have everything right here. We cover things like Transformers, He-Man, superheroes, TMNT, and Radiant Black. Yeah, we have all that and so much more. It's all inside the pull bag here on the Geekcast Radio Network. So, without further ado, it's time to talk about the comics we're reading right now, here inside the pull bag.
What about you, Batman?
I'm not really a people person, but when you need help, and you will, call me.
Alrighty, let's start this show before anything else happens. Heaven forbid. I swear I'm cursed. It's curses.
Brilliant.
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag, only on the Geekcast Radio Network. This is episode 430. That's right, folks, for 30 episodes. And I am your host, TFG and Mike. Joining me is one of the other BAM crew members. It is Bethany Kesler from the Fortress of Baileytude, Superman and Lois tapes. Hi, Bethany. How are you?
Hi, Mike. I'm good. I'm happy to be here today.
Yay. Now, Bethany, folks, is the... I've actually had all three of you on now, because Mike was on years and years and years ago when I first started the Pullbag Origins. And, of course, the way we started out Mike's episode was, The dark hidden fact is I was secretly a Batman fan first. So yes, this is...
I was going to say, I don't know if there's a dark secret, origin to mine, really.
Well, we will find out, because you're going to go through the same 25 questions everybody else has been going through. We are 70 episodes away from the 500th episode, folks. I don't know if I can make it, though. Not sure.
You got this.
Getting in... Yeah. It's like, usually my opening ritual before anyone hears, hello and welcome to whatever show I do, I usually go, wake up, wake up, wake up. Every time I do it when I'm recording with Alice, and she's like, you can do it. Oh, Lord. All right. Did you grow up reading comics, and at what age do you first remember reading or noticing comics?
I did not grow up reading comics. I kind of experimented here and there with comics as my my mom really tried hard to have girly girls. God bless her, she tried hard. A couple of my first comics were some Captain America comics, and then there was one of the issues of the Dark Horse Heir to the Empire comics. Mm-hmm. It was one of the ones from the second book, which the title is escaping me now. So yeah, I didn't really grow up reading comics. I would read anything I could get my hands on, but my dad didn't have his comic collection at our house. It was still at his dad's house. And Mom was mostly focused on just making sure we were, still alive and not killing ourselves. Side note, my the miracle of my childhood is that I lived to see my adolescence, and the miracle of my adolescence is that my sister and I didn't murder each other during it, because we hit teenagerhood like within 2 years of each other, and that was a very interesting time. So, but no, I kind of fell into comics because I was looking for something else to read and kind of tripped over like Scans Daily back in the good old LiveJournal days. And the fact that they're the good old LiveJournal days just, makes me want to crumble into dust and walk into the sea.
Yes, we are old folks.
We're just old.
What's your ICQ number?
Surprisingly, I missed ICQ.
Me too. I've just heard about it.
I mean, my dad would use it all the time, so I knew what it was. I had a passing familiarity with it, but I was not allowed to have my own ICQ account because, the internet is scary, and, there are axe murderers behind every corner. Which is really funny because, at a certain point I had to point out to a couple of my relatives going, there's more likelihood that I'm going to run into an axe murderer from someone that I've actually known in real life than I am to find one on the internet.
Damn. Well, folks, I think we've figured out Bethany's Batman origin. Whew, that was dark.
Actually, my Batman origin didn't start with comics.
Let me guess. Adam West.
My Batman origin started with Adam West. I have seen, and to this day, he is Batman. There is no other Batman. All else are pretenders. Except for Kevin Conroy, because he's the animated Batman. And we make allowances for animated versus live action. But no, there is one Batman. There's only one Batman. And that Batman is Adam West. And I will fight anyone who tries to tell me differently. So it's, but no, I've seen every episode of that show multiple times. I love what they did with it. I love the way that we got to see, how everything comes back to world peace, civics lessons, world peace, piano lessons, world peace, knowing how to do geometry correctly, world peace. And then you don't get enough of Burgess Meredith and Cesar Romero and God, Eartha Kitt, man, send me to the moon. I was in heaven. So yeah, that was my Batman origin story, because I'd seen all of those well before the animated series even started. And then when the animated series started, I was like, oh my God, yes! And I was like, it doesn't sound the same, but they have a Joker that's more or less kind of what I wanted. So yes, this should tell you. I kind of hate every other portrayal of Joker except for Mark Hamill and Cesar Romero.
Okay, now let me ask you this, only because I'm watching one of the special features on one of the Warner Brothers YouTube channels. You really hate Heath Ledger's Joker? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Why?
Joker's a interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
I love what Cesar Romero did for it, and again, I fully admit that I am totally biased because the 1966 series got to me before anybody else could. But the way that Cesar Romero approached it and the way that Mark Hamill approached it, they were all... I mean, he's a bad guy, but they didn't take it to the huge extremes that every other Joker has. And, I mean... And I'm really, and I'm not exceptionally thrilled with some of the ways they've taken that particular character in comics. there's different things you could have done with him, and the way they kind of went with him is lazy writing and a failure of imagination in a lot of cases, which I realize that is a controversial opinion, but you know what? Fight me. As Bailey will tell you, I have no fear.
Yes. I can tell by the picture the three of you had taken at Dragon Con.
And I love how in that picture, Allison is the only one of us who actually looks like she has her stuff together. Bailey's exhausted. I'm just sitting there, like, smiling like a loon, and Allison's just, like, the chillest one out of all of us. Which is true in real life. This was a very accurate picture. But and also especially if you listen to our post Dragon Con episode about my controversial Superman opinions, I have no fear.
Oh boy, you have controversial Superman opinions on a Superman podcast? Uh-oh, especially with Bailey. Oh boy, that's like stepping into fire.
Yeah. I actually got challenged to a couple of duels over those opinions. Actually,
oh boy,
it was kind of fun.
I can't wait to hear that, because as of this recording, I don't think it's out yet.
Oh yes, you'll enjoy that one, because especially you'll get to the point and you're just like, wait, you said what? I'm like, I'm gonna need to rewind that. What did you say?
Yeah,
out loud, where people could hear you.
Are you sure about this? Are you sure you want to go down this road? That's funny.
So yeah. But no, I mean, no, if it's not, I mean, I will give credit that the Heath Ledger Joker was exceptionally good. Mm-hmm. Even if that's not, to put it in Doctor Who terms, it's not my Joker, but then again, that's also not my universe, because Frank Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I like that movie so much is because of Heath, and it's because of where I first saw Heath. So going from the 2008 was Dark Knight, going from 1999 playing Patrick Verona on 10 Things I Hate About You to playing the Joker. I mean,
Patrick Verona. I see we're making our visits a weekly ritual.
Only so we can have these moments together. Should I hit the lights?
Oh, very clever, kangaroo boy. Says here you exposed yourself in the cafeteria.
I was joking with the lunch lady. It was a bratwurst.
Bratwurst? Aren't we the optimist? Next time, keep it in your pouch. Okay? Let's go!
So what do you got for me?
A little insight to a very complicated girl.
Excuse me, just one question before we start. Should you be drinking alcohol when you don't have a liver?
What?
Nothing.
All right, first thing, Kat hates smokers.
So you're telling me I'm a non-smoker?
Yes. Well, just for now.
And here's another problem. Bianca said that Kat likes pretty guys.
Are you telling me I'm not a pretty guy?
He's very pretty.
Yeah,
He's a gorgeous guy.
I just wasn't sure. I didn't know. You know. All right, okay. Here's this, likes Thai food, feminist prose, and angry girl music of the indie rock persuasion. Here's a list of CDs that she has in her room.
So I'm supposed to buy her some noodles and a book and sit around listening to chicks who can't play their instruments, right?
Have you ever been to Club Skunk?
Your favorite band's playing there tomorrow night.
I can't be seeing a Club Skunk, all right?
But she'll be there. She's got tickets.
Listen, assail your ears for one night.
Why so serious?
Two opposite ends of the acting spectrum.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
the fact, and I have this picture on Facebook somewhere, and the fact that you have Robin and Joker in the 10 Things movie, because Joseph Gordon-Levitt would eventually be John Blake, a pseudo Robin, a fake Robin. Anyway, holy rusted metal, Batman.
Holy guacamole, Batman!
That's right.
Yeah. There will be points where I'll just be like, "Holy something, Batman," and people will just turn around at me and go, "What?" Except for Joe Crow from the Sci-Fi Classics track, who will just cackle. So
I think I said this in my email to you guys. I said, wow, I can actually feel like Bethany is like right behind me with her either rage or emotion over whatever it was in that episode that I had responded to about Superman, like whatever you were excited about or whatever. And I'm like, holy crap, it's like she's in the room right next to me. Okay, the age-old question.
Okay.
DC or Marvel?
Well. Because part of that depends.
Well, this is a comic book podcast, so I really hope it doesn't depends on much.
Well, it's I mean, DC has always been my first love. I have been a Batman person, and I have been a fan of like Batman and
which then we had our orchestra in Budapest, Hungary play. Then I thought, well, it's more than 80 years of superhero themes. Let's get Superman in there. Let's get Danny Elfman's Batman. And some more surprises.
Superman to a certain extent, even though I was more a fan of Lex Luthor, but that's because, I admire the gumption that it takes for Lex Luthor to do what he does in the face of Superman. Especially the animated Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah.
Because the animated Lex Luthor, he just, that was just, chef's kiss.
Ooh. Technical difficulties. Let's move on, shall we?
I don't know. Batman has had my whole heart for the longest time. So between DC and Marvel, DC is gonna win. I mean, there was a point, like, after the whole Jason Todd thing, where I broke up with DC for a bit and, fell in love with Captain America and Iron Man and kind of all the shenanigans. I'm one of those few people who actually kind of liked what they were trying to do with the 2006 Civil War. Which again, this, I could do an entire podcast on Bethany and her controversial comics opinions. Because,
ladies and gentlemen, episode 499 of the podcast is set.
But no, I did come back. I came back to Batman, and I came back to DC, and it's just DC's kind of always been my home. It's always been there, and to a certain extent, they have not done the things to me that Marvel has tried to do to me. So, so yeah, if it comes down to DC versus Marvel, it's gonna be DC.
For me, it always comes down to characters. It's not necessarily a company loyalty. It's not because I think I've done. when we first started this podcast 8.5 years ago, episode 3, my buddy Steve and I basically ran through the questions together that I had back then. And I said the same thing 8 years ago. For me, it's always about characters. It isn't about a certain side of either company.
Yeah.
Batman on DC side, Batgirl, Nightwing, Tim Drake, that kind of stuff. And then Marvel with Iron Man. And again, the 90s with Spider-Man and X-Men and all that. The cartoons made me want to read the comics. I wasn't really deep into comics in the 90s. So it was more the cartoons. As apparently Bucky and his train are riding down my street.
Well, and it's like, it's there's some stuff because it all comes down to characters, and it all comes down to, because it's a big character thing. Like, it's always come down to Batman for me. It always comes down to what your portrayal of Bruce Wayne is like. And and kind of the liberties you take with kind of some of the shenanigans.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
And hilariously, my favorite Robin is Jason Todd, because as someone pointed out, I am Tim Drake. So yeah, which legit that is an accurate portrayal of. Especially me in college, that was accurate. But no, I like Batman because Batman is not super powered.
Right.
Shall I say?
He doesn't have heat vision. He doesn't have. Yeah.
His superpower is being really stupid rich.
Well, that and I'll put this right here, as Kevin Conroy always says.
And I am the goddamn Batman.
Yes!
So I'll put that there. Batman's superpower is his intelligence. It's his it's everything.
He's the world's greatest detective.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's beautiful to watch. And it's gorgeous to try and see the different things that they come up with. And the only one better than him is Alfred, and the only one better than both of them is Tim Drake. And it's just...
So how'd you do Batman's voice?
Precise muscle control.
Plus, I have a pretty good ear. Don't do that again.
I love the Bat Fam is pretty much where like I said, that's my heart, that's my soul. Albert, I really loved on the Marvel side, it was always Steve Rogers. It was Steve Rogers, and it was Tony Stark and the Howling Commandos. Like I was that person who legit, when the first Avenger came out, people were absolutely a lot of my comics friends were absolutely terrified, because they're like, okay, you're gonna see this, and if this sucks, everyone will know, because no one will be able to not hear the screaming.
Shit! Language. Yeah. Think we lost the element of surprise.
Wait a second. No one else is going to deal with the fact that Cap just said language?
I know.
And for gosh sake, watch your language.
That's not going away anytime soon.
And I think all of them...
Like I said earlier, folks, when she was screaming on the podcast on Superman and Lois tapes, I'm like, holy crap. That just I had to side-eye behind me. I'm like, is she behind me? Literally.
I do not have the ability to astral project myself yet.
Yeah, yet is the key word there.
Yes. But no, I am a very tiny person. I'm 5'2" in sneakers. So, my joke is that my personality and my opinions are always super concentrated, because, I am so tiny. So, Bailey is actually taller than I am.
Yes, he is.
So, but yeah, it's just, with the Avengers and, just like all the ins and outs, and I really, really love the Howling Commandos. Like, I am related to people like Dum Dum Dugan. It's absolutely hysterical sometimes.
Well, look what the cat dragged.
Timothy Aloysius Dugan. You dead yet, you swine?
Nick, Gary. So good to see you, man.
I wish you were under better circumstances.
So you met Pierce?
Yeah.
So I saw that bowler. I saw that bowler hat for a split second,
oh
and
my God.
And I was the person in the theater, like fist pumping and victory arms. I know, this is why I always sit in the back.
We are going to set a fire under Johann Schmidt's ass. What do you say, Rogers? It's your map. You think you can wipe Hydra off of it?
Yes, sir. I'll need a team.
We're already putting together the best men.
With all due respect, sir, so am I.
So let's get this straight. We barely got out of there alive, and you want us to go back?
Pretty much.
Sounds rather fun, actually. Amen.
Moi, je combattrai jusqu'à ce que le dernier de ces bâtards soit mort, enchaîné, ou bien pleure comme un petit bébé.
J'espère tous les trois.
Moi aussi.
We're in. I'll always fight. But you gotta do one thing for me.
What's that?
Open a tab.
Because there are moments where my enthusiasm will not be contained, and I try not to be a total jerk to the people sitting behind me. So, because I was also the person during Iron Man 2 who was like, oh my God, do you guys know what that is that he just used as a counterweight? Oh my God.
What's this doing here?
That's it. Bring this to me.
You know what this is?
It's exactly what I need to make this work. Lift the coil. Go. Put your knees in it. There you go. And
Drop it.
perfectly level. I'm busy. What do you want?
Nothing. Goodbye. I've been reassigned.
Like, kind of like trying to stand up and reach for the shield because... So,
Yep.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap. He did not just do that. Oh, yes, he did. All right, yes. 2 questions. Have you seen, these are side questions. These are not in the 25. Have you seen the 1998 made-for-TV Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. starring David Hasselhoff and Lisa Rinna?
Yes.
Okay. Gary Chalk as Dum Dum. Oh, I love it.
That was good. I mean, that was good. Neil McDonough is pitch perfect for the MCU.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
but
Gary
wow.
Chalk is good.
And who is your favorite Alfred?
Ah, man. Okay. Are we just talking like straight up just like the live action movies?
Live action and animation. Animation, there's really only one answer, but okay.
Yeah, fair enough. I was good. That's what I said. I'm like, there's really one answer for the animated. But as far as live action goes, I really love Jeremy Irons as Alfred. Like, I wanted, and I think I said this during the Superman and Lois like hiatus stuff as we were going through the Snyderverse for my sins, since I hadn't seen like 90% of it. And I want that Starkey Alfred. I think he got that one pitch perfect. It's, I was just like, can I just have Alfred and like Lois? I want the Alfred and Lois movie. I will watch 6 hours of Alfred and Lois just being themselves.
If only Ephraim were still alive, I would watch a Alfred and Lois animated film with him as Alfred and Delaney as Lois. Oh God, that would be so great. That would be amazing.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I haven't gotten to watch much of Gotham yet. mostly because, when you become a creative person, you like legit have to like schedule to things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I haven't gotten around to that one yet on my list, but from what I've heard, the guy that gets to do it is interesting.
He is very good. Sean Pertwee, I believe. I'm probably mispronouncing his last name.
Yeah, he's the sixth Doctor's kid. I think it's the sixth Doctor.
Yeah, he's good as Alfred. I just don't like that show,
and that's fair.
I like certain parts of that show. I find it absolutely hilarious that Ben McKenzie grew up from Ryan Atwood in the OC to become Commissioner James Gordon in Gotham. But okay, sure, an actor's got to act.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what other publishers do you enjoy reading besides the big two?
I am really big on indie comics. I do love me some indie comics. Image is one that I flirt with a lot, back and forth. And then there's like especially with Image Comics, they've got Die, the comic book series, which, if you haven't read, it's written by Kieran Gillian. It's illustrated by Stephanie Hans. And it's just gorgeous. Like the storytelling and the artwork. And it's just like, it's beautiful on a level that I'm just like, okay, I kind of just want to like frame all of this. And it's basically, it's a dark, it's a kind of, they describe it as a pitch black fantasy where a group of 40-something adults have to deal with the returning unearthly horror that they barely survived as teenage role players. And you can read the first issue online. It's Die Comics, and yeah, I think it's like diecomics.com. Or you can just go to the Image Comics website and read it there. But I mean, guys, it's and of course, Kieran Gillen, if he's in a rush, will tell you that he describes it as goth Jumanji.
Oh my god.
It's so good though. Like, literally, I mean, like, I kind of want to just like crawl around in his brain for a while and just like snuggle up with his thinking and like kind of just like his brain waves and just be like, hi, let's have a sandwich and talk.
And it's called Die, D-I-E.
Yeah.
Okay.
D-I-E. It's called Die. And it's like basically like if you enjoy weird stuff, if you enjoy any kind of dark fantasy anything, if you enjoy D&D, if you enjoy mind-bendy, twisty stuff, you're going to enjoy this comic.
Okay.
Like, it's just, it's super fantastic. And Kieran Gillen also did, like, The Wicked and The Divine with Jamie McKelvey, which is another one that I super love. And Die is actually coming to the end, so you should be able to get it like in all trades soon.
Yeah, Comixology is the first 3 volumes.
Yep. And then the third one will be released in like November 3rd.
Third one's out now.
Yeah, the third one is The Great Game.
It's out now.
Yeah, it's out now.
Yeah, it came out December of last year.
Yeah.
The trade did.
Yeah, and then the fourth one, the one that collects the last of it, is going to be November 3rd of this year. And I will eventually get all of the trades just so that I can actually lend those out, also known as me throwing them at people's heads and going, hi, read this, and then come talk to me about it. I'm actually being I'm actually being like quite literal when I say I will throw it at someone's head, because that's what I've done with Good Omens. I think I've bought that paperback at least 19 to 20 times because I keep flinging it at people and going, I'll buy a new copy. I need you to take this one and read it and then come talk to me about it. Let's see. There's also, because I do the same thing with, I do with comics what I know, a couple of my friends will do like for like movies and stuff. They'll follow actors instead of like genres, which is always fun because you find some really interesting stuff that way.
Right? Yeah.
The Dylan McConis has The Long Con, which that one's totally done. That's totally out in trades too. And that one was done by Simon and Schuster, hilariously enough.
Cool.
And it's wait, what's that? Yep. Yeah, it's done by Dylan McConis and Ben Coleman. And basically like it's just 2 trades. And it's basically what happens if the world ends while a convention is happening. So, like, basically, it's like the world is over, but the con has just begun. And so, like, 5 years ago, a cataclysmic event obliterated everything within a 50-mile radius of the Los Spinova Convention Center, right in the middle of LongCon, the world's biggest and longest pop culture convention. Underdog reporter Victor Lai barely escaped with his life, but his nerdy friend, Des Delaney, publicist for an indie darling comics publisher, wasn't so lucky.
Oh, no.
I mean, like, it's amazing. And anyone who's ever been to a convention is going to look at this and go, yeah, no, that's legit. And then Dylan McConis also did a web series called Bite Me, which you can find at like www.bitemecomic.com, and it's hilarious. It's a vampire farce, but it's and it takes place during the French Revolution, and you know how the joke is that someone will be like, oops, I tripped and fell on the vampire's fangs. And it's always like a joke. It's actually played straight here,
Oh, wow.
It's played straight, and like and you're just sitting here looking at this going, this is hysterical. I can't look away from this. Oh my god, what? Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like Rosario Dawson and Clerks 2 with the Donkey Show. It's horrible and disgusting, and yet I can't look away.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we've got and it's appropriate reading for ages 9 and up. It does contain depictions of bloodshed, but don't worry, it's nobody we like. Accidental hanky-panky, werewolf ankle biting, and extreme chicken aggression. So,
wow. Okay then.
But yeah, and so it was done, and it was written between like 2000 and 2004. So, it's just all kinds of amazing and hilarious and awesome. And then let's see, gosh, I read a lot of indie stuff. Like there are certain like different because I also read a lot of like web comics. Like Ogloff is always good for a laugh. Though that one is definitely not kid friendly or kid safe. Sometimes it's not grown up safe. But yeah, and then I've got some random like what's his name? I've got some indie Jonathan Hickman stuff. Like like the Red Wing, and then there's also Horizon, and a couple of others that, you know, I've just flirted back and forth with. And then mostly it's just because, you know, a bunch of them will just be like, I will walk in and be like, so what's good? And my comics dude will be like, so I think you'll like this. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. My very first comics dude, Steve at Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, loved when I asked for recommendations, because he's like, you're challenging, and I like that. I'm like, fair enough. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, this is going to sound very ass backwards, so just go with it.
Okay.
Print or digital? Which one? Both? Either or? And why?
Both. I prefer print because I like having it in my hands. I like being able to put it on a shelf. I like being able to see how far I've read. I like digital because sometimes I don't want to read a book necessarily on my phone. Sometimes I just want to like flip through something that will engage my brain, but not hardcore engage my brain. And comics are easier to read than books are, because, you know, just they set the scene for you, so it takes a load off your brain. Your brain doesn't have to work quite so hard to like mentally play out the scene for you. They've got the scene there, so mentally it's just easier. However, small screens can get challenging, which is why I'm super glad that the Kindle app on my phone has a way where you can just like double click on it and it'll like pop up.
Enlarge it. Yep.
It'll enlarge it frame by frame. I think I went through all of Annihilation. The big event that was in like 2006 with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Nova Corps and the world's crankiest Peter Quill and Richard Rider as Nova and all that jazz. I went through both of those through just the Marvel Unlimited app. I have all 5 issues of Greg Pak's John Wick on my Kindle app, and that was interesting. Not quite sure I totally buy into all of that being quote unquote canon, but that was interesting. I also have some of the old guard on there as well, which is another one that I really, really super love, is just the old guard story. Like, the movie's fantastic, and I love the movie, and I will rewatch it at the drop of a hat, but the comics are also just really, really obscenely good. And then, what else do I have on there? Oh, Rising Stars. The one by J. Michael Straczynski. I have both compendiums on there as well, and went through. I mean, I've got them in trade form, I've got them in novel form, and I have them in digital form. And going through those is also super awesome. J. Michael Straczynski is one of those people that I just kind of will like follow around and just read whatever he kind of does, because he's just that good. I haven't read his Superman stuff yet, but that's mostly because I haven't got my hands on the trades yet. I'm working my way around to that. But he created one of my all-time favorite shows for life, and I've just kind of always just followed him around with whatever he's been doing, because it's just, I know I can trust him to tell a good story, even if it's not necessarily something I would ordinarily pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of things that he's done that I'm just like, but where is the rest of it? Specifically, I'm talking about the Book of Lost Souls. There's one trade, it ends on a cliffhanger. I'm irritated.
Hate when that happens. Yeah, that's.
I mean,
yeah.
granted, like as a writer, as a creative person, I get an inordinate amount of glee of doing evil cliffhangers because yes, I know that it's going to piss off everyone and make them want to pick up the next one. As a reader, they just piss me off, especially when there's nothing after that, and I'm just like, no, why? But Michael Straczynski also did one called Midnight Sun, I believe. That's one full trade, and that one's also exceptionally good.
Yeah, that's kind of like me with, and I know, folks, you people that are listening to this episode heard this 2 episodes ago, but I will bring it up every single time. The whole thing with the cliffhanger or not getting more of the story, or the story completely changing to something you don't want it to be. Nightwing turned into a stupid super spy. Friggin' Dio.
I'm like, see.
I wanted Amusement Mile, damn it.
Hey, I really can't say anything because I enjoyed the shit out of Grayson. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was really waiting for just like Agent Tiger Dude to just start like wailing on Dick, and I was just gonna be like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you totally had that coming. But then,
I mean,
also,
I'm very happy that Kyle got to end his run his way, but still, Kyle Higgins writing Dick Grayson has been my number 1 favorite story with that character, and I wanted it to continue to be more, not go into spiral. Yes, folks, we're all jaded around here.
But I also super enjoyed. I think the thing that actually got me into reading Grayson was actually because I saw a panel of Midnighter and Dick from that, and Midnighter's like, I'd know that ass anywhere, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, no, that's fair. I'm like, yep. I'm like, okay, I'm sufficiently amused by this one panel. Let me go find out where this is from.
Yeah, that's apparently from what I heard from Brett Booth when he was on the Higgins run. Apparently, that's every artist's dream when they get to do Nightwing. As long as they get to do a really good butt shot, they'll be happy.
and there's a glut of those in Grayson, for which, again, totally shallow, but I super appreciate it because, it's just, I mean, I made a joke, oh god, it's like 8 cons ago, something like that, that I was, because it was Monday at Dragon Con, and I was in the dealer's room kind of just cleaning up because everybody was doing like super discounted sales because, it's Monday at Dragon Con and they don't want to take all this stock home.
No, they don't.
So I was literally, I think I got like something like 42 pops or something, and like didn't spend nearly enough to have like actually like bought 42 pops. I didn't spend near the amount that. Yeah, no, they were doing some seriously good deals. But my joke was that I was specifically focusing on just collecting, like, the strong female characters. And so, literally, in my arms, I have, like, Daisy Johnson, and I have Agent 13, and I have Maria, and I have Maria Hill, and Psylocke, and then, like, the one in the middle, and Spider-Gwen and Captain Marvel, and then the one in the middle is the Nightwing pop. And they're like, and I'm like, okay, go ahead, make the argument that Dick Grayson as Nightwing does not technically fall into the exact definition of a strong female character in comics today. Go ahead, I'll wait. So yeah, I mean, it's I enjoyed a bunch of the Grayson line just because I got funny, witty banter, and I got Midnighter being Midnighter, and yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Who are some of your favorite comics writers and why?
John Michael Straczynski, because he's just ace, and he's just like brilliant. Like no matter what he touches, there's always a depth to it. There's always like he'll bring out stuff that you've never even thought about and do it in such a way that you're just sitting there going, wow, okay, legit, headcanon accepted, holy crap. So he's just an amazing storyteller. Like everything he touches is gold. Another one is Jonathan Hickman, who is probably the only person on the face of planet Earth who has ever made me actually somewhat not despise the very ground that Reed Richards is walking on. You know, insert the John Mulaney gif of, now we don't have time to unpack all of that. But his run on the Fantastic Four, especially when it led up to like Johnny Storm's death, and then the FF run after that was well done. And I really, really enjoyed kind of what he did with that. Shauna McGuire with her Spider-Gwen stuff is just amazeballs. She's another person that, like, everything she touches is gold. And, you know, like, let's see, who else? Saladin Ahmed with, his black, oh, dang it. What's his name? It's not Black Mask.
Black Manta?
No, not Black Manta. It was a Marvel one. I've tried to think of it.
Black Panther?
No, it was the other guy. He's with the, with Lockjaw.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Hold on. Because that's going to bother me now. Like, I can remember the name of the dog. I can't remember the name of the character.
Well, I mean, you know, Pizza Dog is Pizza Dog. Everybody knows Pizza Dog.
Well, I mean, there's Pizza Dog, but there's Lockjaw, and Lockjaw is just awesome. Black Bolt, that's what it is.
Okay.
His run on Black Bolt was really, really well done. And then, and he's also been doing some Ms. Marvel stuff that's really fantastic. They also have Abbott, which has been really, really good. And Abbott's more of like an indie type comic, but that one is also exceptionally well done. He's an Eisner Award winning writer. So he also had, let's see, who else? Like, I mean, it's like, I follow so many people who write for so many things. So I'm trying to remember what all they've done is like, I'm like, like I've already said Dylan McConis. She's actually, writer, artist. Like Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey, I will probably just follow to the ends of the earth because they write things in such a way that it's super duper fascinating.
Yeah, I loved what I read so far. I haven't gotten back to it yet, but I loved his Star Wars stuff that he did when he was writing like Darth Vader and things like that from Marvel. So
yeah,
that was really, really cool. Really dug that because
Greg Rucka is also really, really good.
Yes, he is.
And let's see. What else? This is a problem when I follow so many people because I'm just like, they're all good. Ed Brubaker.
I like you. Yeah, Ed Brubaker with his Captain America stuff. Yep.
Yeah. No one can touch Ed. No one is allowed to touch Captain America, but Ed Brubaker, because I'm pretty sure Ed Brubaker is probably one of the only people, in this day and age who can actually touch that character and not screw him up.
Fellas.
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much, that's pretty much most of my top ones. Like, I mean, I also like Matt Rosenberg?
Mm-hmm.
Rosenberg. His Hawkeye stuff is pretty good. And Matt Fraction.
Wait. Okay, Fraction, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Fraction stuff was good. Rosenberg stuff has been really good. So that stuff has been pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
James Tynion IV in his Batman run was really, really excellent.
Yeah, it was. Sure it is.
I mean, I'm not really that big a fan of Jeff Johns, for which I realized that some people will see that as blasphemy, but yeah, whatever, I said what I said.
I haven't read enough of his stuff to make a decision. I always hear about how great his stuff is, and I just haven't read enough of it.
Meh is pretty much is a lot of what I get, but then again, I'm also not exactly the target demographic for a lot of his stuff. And I wish that someone would just take Frank Miller's pens and ink and everything away.
Well, boy. We got 69 episodes to go before your hot takes on comics, people. What defines a good story to you?
Did it make me feel something? And was it something like, and by that I'm like, did it make me feel something? Like, did it make me laugh? Did it make me cry? Did it did it piss me off in a good way? Because there's pissing you off to where you want to set the comic on fire and walk away, and then there's piss you off like, where is the next issue? Oh my god, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
This is why I always wait for the trade, so I have the story all at once.
I don't have that kind of patience. But I also have a really super busy life, so it's not uncommon for me to like wait to read my my drops until I've got like 4 or 5 of them, and then I can just like breeze through them, and I'm like, okay.
Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of that.
What does a story have to draw you in? So you pick up a new number 1 from whatever character, whatever author, whatever. What does that first issue have to make you keep coming back to more issues if it gets more?
A good writer. Like, I have been around the block a bunch of times, so generally speaking, if it's a new writer to me, I'll kind of flip through like the number 1 and see like what did they do to the character. Like, I don't expect that you keep the character. I don't want them to match my personal headcanon perfectly, because that's impossible. Nobody lives in my brain. And if you are living in my brain, then I'm gonna need you to start paying rent.
Okay, this is all your fault. Another clip I have to put in this episode. Right here is where I will put it.
Give me a triple. Now.
The doctor will see you now.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to cancel that appointment.
Coming here was the mistake of your life. See, the closer I am to someone, the stronger I get. I'll be able to go into your brain, even if you're wide awake.
My brain's not a nice place to be.
a song going through your mind.
It's what's keeping you out, Johnny.
Batman on coffee. Give me a triple.
But I have a certain flexibility for art. It has to be like there are certain art styles that I just cannot do. But for the most part, I can deal with most art, even if it's not my preferred, technically my preferred style. But the writing has to be there, and I have to kind of know, or at least get a sense from flipping through that issue number 1, that they actually understand the character they're talking about. Like there's like writers, because you mentioned writers that I follow, writers that I like. Like there's a bunch of stuff like if it's something that I know that Nick Spencer has touched, I won't go near it. Because I don't trust his take on a lot of things, and his writing is lazy.
Okay.
Same for Rick Remender.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's about as close as we're gonna get.
Yeah, there's stuff where I'm just like, oh, okay, this may look interesting. Oh, this person is in it, and no, I'm not picking it up. I just I have reached the age. I am old enough in internet years, and I am old enough in fandom years to where I curate what my intake very, very diligently, and I'm not going to waste time on something that I know is likely just going to piss me off more than I enjoy it. Like, there may be a panel or something that might be interesting, but that's what Scans Daily is for.
So is fandom years kind of like dog years, where it's more than your actual age?
Yes, but like there's an order of magnitude to it, like depending on when you came into it. Like if you came in like before Supernatural started, you are a fandom old. If you came in like in the middle of the Harry Potter fandom heyday, if that's when you started, you are a fandom old now. If you started any time before that, you were a fandom ancient elder. So
stop making me feel old, Bethany. And it's funny you bring up Potter, and I don't know. In 8 years, over 400, almost 500 episodes, I don't know if I've ever told this story on this podcast, so I'm going to tell it really quickly. In 1999, I moved to Biloxi, Mississippi.
I'm sorry.
That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is when I was trying to get acclimated to the area and all of that, there was at the time... Was it Holly Cook, or did it become Books and... I don't remember. There was a bookstore. It was either Holly Cook Booksellers, or it was Borders, or it was Books a Million. It was a damn bookstore that wasn't Barnes and Noble. So I go in and I tell the lady cashier, she's a much old... She could be my mom or my grandmother. She was an older blonde lady. I believe her name was Angie or Angela. I don't remember. Anyway, I said, I'm new. This is what I've read before, which was stuff like R.L. Stine's Fear Street, John Grisham novels, that kind of stuff. And I said, I'm looking for something new to read. She took me to a book stand that had two different things on it. On one side, it had The Boy Wizard. And on the other side, it had a former lingerie buyer turned bounty hunter. Now, which one do you think I picked at 19 years old?
I'm going to go with not The Boy Wizard.
I have no disrespect to the Potter franchise. I have no disrespect to the books, the movies, whatever. I've never seen them. I have no compunction to see them. If you enjoy it, if you love it, if you're into the fandom of that, that's great, and I will support your love of that. I just have no interest whatsoever, because when I made that choice, I was like, okay, this is the path I'm going on. And the former lingerie buyer turned bounty hunter was Janet Ivanovich's Stephanie Plum in the Plum novels.
And that's, I was just about to and I'm like, was it a Stephanie Plum novel by any chance? Because if it wasn't, I was gonna make you give me that title. Be like, I want this. But no, it's and that's fair. I mean, it's pretty much I mean, I will forever love the fandom for what it gave me and for what it taught me. But I mean, the author itself, she's just done too much to where, like, I'm gonna take my friends, I'm gonna keep my friends, but the rest of you can just go to the bad place, because that's where you're going.
It's funny, we can support the media, not the media, not like news. We can support the stuff, but there's certain aspects of who's in that stuff, a la, say, The Cosby Show. I still love that show for what that show is. Bill Cosby's a friggin' monster, so, but I can still separate the character from the actual person and still enjoy the stories that were told on that show. And it just sucks that we have to do that. It just sucks that these people end up being monsters.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite comic artists?
Oh, Stephanie Hans, Jamie McKelvey. Those are like the top two. And then so it's like those two, and then it's the guy who does the stuff for the Old Guard. What is his name? I'm looking up his name. It's gonna bother me if I don't. But it's okay, seriously, just give me the cover.
The Old Guard is come on. Issue 5, Comicsology, Issue 1, Collector Edition, Volume 1. Leandro Fernandez.
Yes, Leandro Fernandez, and then Mira and Wynn, who are the inker and the other
very
one,
cool,
I believe.
Cool.
But yeah, no, they do some amazing stuff. Again, going back to Stephanie Hans, like, I just her stuff is just so good. And she in addition to her work on Die, she also did work on, like, the Journey into Mystery stuff. And some of that art is just breathtakingly gorgeous. Most of the Batman artists have been pretty good. I really enjoy the latest ones that have been doing it, like, through Rebirth up until present day. Especially the ones who did, like, issue 16, 17 of the Rebirth one during the I Am Bane days, where they're all in Batburgers. And it is Bruce and, like, every Robin, barring Tim Drake, who is technically dead at that point.
Speak of the devil. You coming?
I guess it's about time.
Sort of.
Oh, damn it.
Well, it's... Given the timelines, this is after Detective Comics where he's been quote unquote killed during the whole like doomsday sort of arc.
Right.
But those scenes are just absolutely hysterical. Because you have Dick and Jason and Damien and you have Luke and then there's Bruce eating a burger with a knife and fork. And you're just like, Bruce. But yeah, actually, I actually have that entire scene.
My hot take opinion is, I don't care what Damien does, I will never like that kid.
He's grown on me. I kind of, especially after seeing him in the DC animated universe films, he's definitely grown on me. But yeah, no, that scene in Batburger, I have like in one huge frame, that entire scene. It's framed for me. It was a gift from my amazing roommate. And so it hangs on my wall. So whenever I see it, I just get this big stupid grin on my face. So yeah, no, definitely Stephanie Hans and Dylan McConis and Leandro Fernandez and Jamie McKelvey. Like, they're all amazing artists.
Very cool, very cool. Do you have a favorite non-superhero title?
A favorite non-superhero? Yes. I don't know. Are we counting the old guard as superheroes?
I don't know. I've only recently looked into it, so I'm not sure.
Well, if we're not counting the old guard as superheroes, then definitely the old guard. Die is another one. And then Saga is another one. I do love what Brian and Fiona have done there. And dang it, we're supposed to get like the next part of it soon.
I'm surprised it hasn't. Not that I want it to end, but I'm really surprised that it's gone on this long. Not because of, popularity or whatever, but man.
I mean, I just want the end of the story. Like, I don't care if that takes 1 issue or 50 issues to finish it. I just want the rest of the story.
Oh man, you Saga fans have been waiting a long time. Volume 9 came out in 2018. Holy crap.
I actually own the giant omnibus, which is all of them in one thing. I'm pretty sure if you dropped it on somebody, you could murder them. It was like $50. It's freaking...
Yeah, we don't promote murder around here, but okay, sure.
See, I was a history major in college, and the best history books are always the ones that could double as weapons during the zombie apocalypse. Because if you couldn't drop it on somebody and like give it like or throw it at somebody and like give them a concussion, or if it wasn't thick enough to stop a bullet, then it wasn't. Then it's not a true history textbook.
There you go. All right.
We were prepared.
Yeah. There's all, you always have to be prepared. Do you have a favorite run of a series? So the best example, the most old school example I can say is Batman's been around for 80 plus years. Like, do you like Batman 466 to 477, or is there a specific storyline or run within a series?
Baker's Captain America.
The whole thing?
Issues 1 through 25.
Cool. I need to read that. I do really need to read that.
I'd offer to send you my huge copy of all of it collected, but it's also like £10.
Yeah, no, I can get them digitally. I have to find the time and the money.
Yep. I know that feeling.
Yeah. What is one comic you can read over and over again, single issue or trade?
Well, I reread most of my comics, but hilariously, I'm pretty sure it's gonna go back to Die.
Okay.
Especially that first trade. I could just read that first trade over and over and over again. Actually, I think probably the first trade of the Old Guard and then the first trade of Die would be the two that I can just read over and over and over again and never, ever, ever get tired of them.
Cool. Awesome. Are there comics you avoid altogether?
Yeah, I won't touch the Killing Joke with a 10-foot pole or for $1 million. And then there's like certain other ones that I just character-wise that I'm not fans of. So like it takes a lot for me to pick up a Green Lantern comic that features Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jesus Jordan either.
Because, well, as Allison found out, as we were watching, she was watching something, like one of the animated series, and Hal Jordan came on, and my immediate first reaction was, "Oh, hello, fuckface." she's like, "No, tell us how you really feel about Hal Jordan." I'm like, and then there was an episode of Earth's Mightiest Heroes that featured Reed Richards, and she is in a different room trying to cook dinner. And I'm just sitting here like yelling at Reed Richards and just like critiquing everything, like from his lab safety to like just everything. Because Reed Richards is the worst, and all you can hear is, in between me yelling at the TV, it is just her cackling out loud. Because, like you said, I am a very emotive person and very expressive in that emotions, and yeah. So yeah, the ones I don't like that is a hardcore. No, dude. Like, don't even come close. But I mean, the best Hal Jordan thing that I've ever really enjoyed has been the shortening of the Green Lantern mantra that he did. Instead of like, dark from blackest night to brightest dawn, blah 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 blah. He's like, no, from the shoulder, above the wrist, look out evil, it's my fist. I'm like that. I'm like,
funny.
yes, short, snappy, conveys the point.
Yep.
So that is the only kudos point that Hal Jordan ever gets from me. So
I will say though, because I'm a fan of his work and I'm a fan of what he's done, and I've interviewed the guy a few times. Josh Keaton, who voiced him in Green Lantern, the animated series, I love. As much as I'm not a fan of Hal in general in the comics and in almost anything else he's done or what they've put him in, Josh's performance as Hal in Green Lantern, the animated series, was pretty cool.
Oh, Josh Keaton is just good at whatever he does. He's just fantastic. We love our voice actor, Space Dad.
Yes. He surprised us all as Skinny Steve.
Yeah. Well, and it took me a second because I was like, wait, that's it. And I was like, okay, that's right. Josh Keaton is doing this voice. Because,
yep.
my favorite Josh Keaton voice is Shiro from Voltron, the Legendary Defender. Because, Space Dad. Space Dad, just,
Yep.
And a queer Space Dad at that, too.
Yeah.
So.
Are there any comics in the past or currently that you wish you hadn't read them?
Some of the Rick Remender, whatever the hell, Captain America comics.
Okay.
Especially with what he tried to do to Sam Wilson, which is just not okay. Other than that, no, not for comics. There are a couple MCU movies I wish I'd never seen.
Which ones are those?
How long do you have?
I don't know.
No, mostly when it comes down like to the MCU stuff, it's just sloppy, lazy writing and people not having an idea of the actual characterization. Cough, cough, Joss Whedon. Cough, cough. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there that's just, it could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot more impacting. And it could have been a lot more interesting, except they took the lazy ass ways out. And then, people...
I have a strange feeling this has to do with a widow.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, actually, it goes further than that.
Oh, no. Well...
like, I'm talking about going all the way back to phase 2.
You come up with a catchy title for the podcast, and I will record whatever you want.
I think, yeah, one of my my nerd brother from another mother, Gary Mitchell but not the Star Trek one, but it is spelled that way. Has joked about doing an MCU rewatch podcast with just my reactions of going, no, this is where they went wrong, and this is why it could have been better, and this is dumb. Like there's a couple things that are unforgivable when it comes to stuff. I can let go with a lot of stuff, but when you start making characters hold the idiot ball, and it's really obvious that they're being dumbed down on purpose for plot reasons, then you need to put away your keyboards and go find a job that's anywhere else but doesn't revolve you touching any kind of characterization ever again. Just break the keyboard and move on.
There you go.
I mean, it's just that is an unforgivable sin. And it doesn't have to be like that. There's ways to do it where you can accomplish the similar thing without making them hold the idiot ball. It just requires like actual work. So, but no, I mean, there's not a lot of comics that I wish I hadn't read. I mean, I think really just like some of the Rick Remender stuff, and then like The Killing Joke. I mean, I do wish that I had not actually read The Killing Joke. I wished I had just stuck with the summary.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
It really did not deserve the amount of time that I spent reading it. So
now, I need to hear your flip side answer to this, because when Allison answered this, I was like, oh, okay then. How large or small is your physical comic book collection?
We had to like buy another couple of bookshelves for it. Because the way that our coping method for getting through 2020 was Batman. Was going through all of the DC animated films through DC Universe, back when that was a thing. Going through all the Young Justice and Titans and all of the different shows, and then also picking up all the back trades of stuff that we just hadn't picked up yet. So we have a lot of Batman, and we have a lot of Nightwing. Like, we have like 4 or 5 shelves that is nothing but Batman or Bat Family. going all the way from pre New 52 stuff through New 52, through Rebirth, through whatever the hell they're calling this one now.
Whatever the hell we're on now. Yeah.
Yeah, through
Future
present
state
day.
or whatever. Yeah, whatever it is now. I can't keep up, man.
Yeah, I point at them, I point at my people and I'm going, yes, if it's Batman and if it's something that isn't Frank Miller-esque, you can put it in my box. I'm like, if it is anything Frank Miller-esque, just ask Allison if she wants it. I don't want it. You know, but yeah, no, we have a lot of comics and we have a lot of books to the point where our major home improvement project has been putting all the books into one space. So the library is 2 rooms at this point, and we're probably going to need to branch out further.
Oh my god.
I own a lot of books.
How much further can you branch out?
Yeah, branch out. Like, currently, we have a room for nonfiction / reference books, because, you know, as writers, we have a lot of reference books. I'm a historian, so I have a lot of history books.
Right.
And then we have the fiction room, which is all of the fiction plus all of the fandom books plus all of the comics. And yeah, this is small room is getting smaller because we've got like 6 bookshelves in there. Not counting the like, literally the comics are on like, well, most of the comics, all the Batman comics are on one wall, where it's just like goes from one side of the wall to the other side of the wall. Like, yeah. And I think she put them in somewhat resembling chronological order, which is impressive and also terrifying. But then again, that is my amazing roommate, who is impressive and also terrifying. She is also our hashtag Common Sense Committee. So.
Yeah. Okay, so heaven forbid anything happen. Not that I'm trying to jinx anything, but I asked this question of everybody, and this actually comes from a different question, but if the entire place, every human and pet is safe, but all the books and all the entire place is about ready to go, what's the one comic you could never live without ever? What's the one comic you'd run in to save?
Issue 16 of Batman Rebirth, because it's Batburgers. If I could only save one, it would be that one.
That's awesome. What was the most money you spent on a comic or a comic item? Now, when I mean comic item, it could be a statue, it could be a Batarang, whatever, you know, something you'd get at a convention.
Well, I have the Batman 66 Batmobile.
Which one?
The cool one.
No, you said Batman 66. I mean, that pretty much already narrows it down.
No, I have the Funko version of it, with the Funko version of Batman 66, along with the entire rest of that group of Funkos, all the villains, Batgirl, Robin, everything. I also have a picture of me in the 1966 Batmobile, pretending to drive it, with Allison holding the giant ass bomb over her head from the movie, and it is quite possibly one of my favorite things ever, is that picture.
Yeah, I mean, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah, you just get rid of a bomb. I got to pretend to drive the Batmobile, and that was amazing.
Very cool, very cool. Was there ever a moment when you were done with comics?
Yeah, after the whole, we killed Jason Todd because he wasn't Dick Grayson, and we voted to kill him. I kind of walked away from comics for a tiny bit at that point.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did, and then they eventually came back because they eventually got over it. Because again, I never called the number. I saw about it on the.
He's back, so.
Yeah, he's still around. He's still kicking.
Mm-hmm.
What are you reading right now, and what do you think our listeners should check out?
Everything that I have mentioned so far on this podcast.
Okay.
Except for the killing joke. Save yourself the pain. Definitely check out Die. Definitely check out The Old Guard. Definitely check out, The Last Con. And, The Wicked Are Divide. There's Phonogram. There's a lot of really fun indie stuff out there that's, really going in some really spectacular ways. Abbott's another one. And then if you like, Batman, come talk to me. I like Batman. I'm happy to share all of my controversial comics opinions with you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Heroes, heroines, anti-heroes and heroines, or villains. What archetypes are your go-to reads?
I really, really love, the trickster archetype. But
cool.
Mostly.
Do you have a "my parents got rid of my comics" story?
No, thank God. I have several. My parents sold off a bunch of my books without telling me stories, and I reacted badly because I reacted badly.
Right.
But no, most of my comics collecting happened after I was a grown bean. My hardcore comics collecting happened after I was a grown bean, and yeah. So no, I don't have one of those. Thank God. I have other trust issues.
Uh-oh. Man, I feel like a therapist now. Sheesh. Oh boy. Which Green Lantern hurt you the most?
Again, how much time you got?
Yeah. Again, future episode, folks. Comic psychology with Bethany. Oh Lord. Here we go.
Yeah, there's a reason why I did not choose to go down that path for a career.
What's Batman always say to Terry? Block it out and power on through.
Yeah, but Batman is not someone you want to be in charge of your mental health.
That's true. That's very true. What is one item from a comic book you'd love to have in the real world? So the best two examples I can give of the best three, maybe Superman's cape, Batman's batarang, or any Green Lantern's ring.
Actually, I kind of like Tim Drake's utility belt.
What's he got in there anyway?
Fully loaded and stocked.
Got it. It's a Q thing. Oh God, I miss Desmond Llewellyn
so much. So much.
All in all, rather stocked. Fully loaded, I think is the term. I think. You're not here to think. You're here to do what I tell you.
I don't care what I don't care what anyone says about World Is Not Enough. I still love that movie.
Oh yeah. It was a good bond.
Mm-hmm. If you could create any comic storyline, any character, anything, any company gives you the keys to the kingdom, what would you want to create with it, and what characters would you want to use? Oh man, I'm scared, folks.
Don't you ever wish you were down there?
I'm down there all I need to be.
Yes, but it's just a job to you. I'm talking about going down there and having some fun. Maybe with someone special. No dating for the Batman. It might cut into your brooding time.
1. Dating within the team always leads to disaster. 2. You're a princess from a society of immortal warriors. I'm a rich kid with issues. Lots of issues. And 3. If my enemies knew I had someone special, they wouldn't rest until they'd gotten to me through her.
Next.
Oh man, I would probably be Batman. And I would probably Batman, Justice League, have some more fun with like Zatanna, Constantine, Batman, King Shark, all that jazz. So that's probably what I would do.
Because King Shark is a shark.
King Shark is a shark, man. And
That's
apparently
sharks.
he's a cordial ex too.
Wait, what?
Have you seen Justice League Dark Apocalypse War?
No, I have not.
You really, really, really should.
Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. Homework for me.
Really, really should.
Lord. I'm scared. What is the one piece of it?
Talk to me and Allison about it.
Yes, I probably will. What is the one piece of advice you would give the comics fandom?
Slow down, guys. It's really not that serious.
That's very true. That is very, very true. Oh boy. Alright folks, we're going to take a quick break. That was the final question. We're going to come back after these messages. Toycast is back. We are talking toys once more here on the Geekcast Radio Network's Toy and Action Figure podcast. From breaking into the display case to our toy topic talk and the brand new Origins in Toy collections, where we get guests to tell us their toy story of how they got into toy collecting. Toycast is the only toy podcast you will ever need. Find us on geekcastradio.com and any podcatching client you choose to use. Now go forth, transform and transcend your toy collecting today while listening to Toycast.
Decian, the superhero webcomic. Decian's got superhero antics and sexy girls. For action, comedy, mayhem, and more, read it now at Decian.com. DASIEN.com.
Because the world needs another movie podcast.
The Geekcast Radio Network presents for your listening pleasure the Cinema Geek.
Hosted by Amanda, Kevin, Matt, and Dan.
Each week we dive headfirst in the landscape of movies as we discuss movie news, play movie games,
go in-depth on reviews,
and even have a top 10 countdown or two.
Also, don't miss our director retrospective series where we review noted directors' movies film by film. Bottom line is, if you love movies and love podcasts, you need to experience the Cinema Geeks.
You can find us on iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, or geekcastradio.com.
On the Simplistic Reviews podcast, we talk movies. We talk TV. We talk.
Hello, Julie, what the heck are you doing?
Trying to make our spots sound more exciting by adding explosions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have got the point across with sound effects, not the real thing. Car.
Download this show on iTunes or at simplisticreviews.blogspot.com.
I'm sure your insurance company will cover that.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
Discover a world of vintage and modern toys that's more than meets the eye with the Triple Takeover Toycast.
Hosted by toy writers and photographers Toybox Soapbox, 6O, and TF Square 1, this informal and chilled-out series of discussions cover everything from vintage Transformers to Mask, Diaclone, Microman, and more, be it nostalgic or current.
Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual robot enthusiast, all are welcome.
Triple Takeover Toycast.
All right, folks, we are back here on episode 430 with Bethany Kesler's Origins in Comic Reading. Is there anything else you would like to say before I have you start promoting stuff?
Stay safe. Don't lick doorknobs.
I'm pretty sure that didn't happen in The Killing Joke. Then again, sometimes doorknobs usually talk to you, so there is that too. Watch out, Alice.
like doorknobs.
Is there anything you would like to promote?
Definitely Fortress of Baileytude, Superman and Lois tapes. We are going to be doing some Smallville stuff during the hiatus, which is going to be fun because I haven't seen like 90% of that show. So it will be another...
I don't think either one of y'all have seen 90% of that show.
Allison has seen more than I have.
Right?
And she skipped around a bunch of episodes and different things. So I remember season 1, sort of. But there's that. I have a Patreon for my short stories under patreon.com /DJ Gray. And that's Gray with an A-Y instead of an E-Y. If you've ever heard me at a convention, on a panel, or on a podcast I've been visiting on, I write short stories under a pen name for plausible deniability reasons. You can also see me at my website for my blog and my other social media stuff, which is at deejgray.com. Or just come find me on Twitter at booknerdguru, and let's chat.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for joining us here inside the Pull Bag. If you'd like to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our 13 years of content, folks. 13 and a half years, actually. No, I'm 13 years. It's 12 and a half, almost 13 years for the network. God, I'm old. I'm a teenage podcaster. Oh, Lord.
At least the podcast isn't old enough to drink yet.
No, send an email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. Here are all the ways you can listen to us nowadays. Apple and Google Podcasts. Leave us reviews, please. I'll have to check that for next time. Spotify and any other podcatching client you choose to use. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio for the network, at the Pullbag for the show. I am at TFG1Mike. Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Geekcast Radio Network. You can also search out the Pullbag over there, as well as the Superman and Lois tapes. Join us next time when we will be discussing, I have no friggin' idea, folks. I have October stuff written down in the script. I'm not sure what's going on because I know Allison wants to do some Hawkeye comic stuff to lead into our reviews of the Disney Plus series coming November 24th, 2021. For now, I'm TFG1Mike with
Bethany Kesler, and thanks for having me.
All right. As always, make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time here inside the Pull Bag.
You and the Joker?
Ryder Rooney! I've never seen you laugh before. I don't think I like it. Cut it out! You're giving me the creeps!
You little fool.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pull Bag, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter @thepullbag and @geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.